Hey y'all, woo woo woo. Welcome to the Shine Your Light podcast. Of course, I am your host, Lachelle Hooks. And y'all, we have a very interesting show for you guys today. Speaking about a very popular topic, love versus lust. So I hope y'all tune in, provide y'all opinions, and we about to talk about it, how to recognize the difference between the two. So, here with me today, I'm so excited to introduce, of course, we have the beautiful singer, multi talented woman of God, just the amazing overall spirit. We have the beautiful Simone in the building.
Hi, I just knew
Okay.
she was talking about you before she said woman.
Yes. Oh, I forgot Ty is a singer too.
I had the vocals.
Put him on the
Yes.
spot.
Very. I can't wait till they bless us with them vocals. I can't wait till that. We need to do a karaoke night, y'all. Come on now.
I'm telling you, I'm down.
Let's do
A little
it.
parched.
He ain't Rick rocking us today. Rick Rossing us today, okay?
Not
But
today.
thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you to the amazing Ty the Guy, business owner, again, multi-talented. And these are both my co-hosts on the Shine Your Light podcast. Shine
Yeah.
Your Light crew. So
Thank you for having
welcome.
us as always.
Yes, thanks for being here.
Because you didn't get to have any of the moments
We
like
can't
when
hear
she
you.
introduced. You need to do all of that.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Hold on, y'all.
Yeah.
A little rusty,
Yeah.
It's been a little minute.
Okay, we got you want your class. Shots fired.
We cooking.
Shots fired. So today, y'all, we talking about love and lust, and I really feel like, on a serious note, that a lot of our trauma, I know mine personally for sure, has come from being in relationships that started off more lustful rather than purposed. So I really want to dive into that. We're all in like dating mode. None of us are married right now. And I think a lot of other people, our listeners, you know, kind of going through the same dilemma. So what do y'all feel about it? What's the difference between love and lust? How do you recognize the difference, and what do you do about it?
Just to kick it off, to give the people a few things of context as why we chose this topic. We were having a conversation off air, of course, one day, and we began to like dive deep into the conversation. We didn't like plan on it or anything, but God just began to move, and we start gaining understanding like in the moment. And I'm like, man, hold on, wait. Like this could be for the people. Because yeah, we speak about lust and all those things, but the way God was presented it, it was also deeper than that. That it's more to it. So today, we decided to have this conversation with everybody, that we can all have it together and interact and kind of gain some understanding as we go. So let's start with first, love, right? What is love? And I know that the first typical answer is going to be God, right? We all say
Amen.
God is love, and we understand that. Then what's next?
After love,
Hmm.
sacrifice.
Love is sacrifice.
Yes.
Love is action.
Yes.
Action, yeah.
Yes.
Love is choice.
Love is repetitive.
Love is experience.
Yes.
And we can go on and on about all the beautiful things that fall within love, within itself. And also too, love is hard. I think that we do overlook that aspect of love. I believe that God spoke about it oftentimes in the Bible, where he even say that he would chastise those that he loved. Sometimes it's not going to feel good to us, but again, it's love, and it's a form of love that teaches us and navigates us to get to where we need to be. So we're going to start here with Simone today. Can you name a time in your life where you thought it was love, to where you later maybe assessed it when you realized that it was a little bit beyond that in that moment for you?
That's good.
That I was beyond love.
Right. Like it was false. It was false love.
Oh,
Mm.
and like basically, I realized that it wasn't really love.
Right.
Later on, type
Mm.
stuff. Yeah. let me.
I know the women got.
the
I'm pretty sure the
ways.
women got a story for days.
Man.
Um. Okay, so You know what? I'm actually gonna go uncommon. And instead of speaking on a relationship, I'm gonna actually speak on family.
Yeah.
Family. You know, there's this big narrative of, family is family no matter what. You love your family no matter what, no matter what they do, what they say, what happens, all of those type of things. And just realizing, like, as I gotten older, I've always been in like a close knit family. We've always been close, family oriented. I'll say, I won't say close knit. I'm gonna say family oriented. We've always been family oriented. I have a huge family. There's a lot of us. I can usually find one of us anywhere. That's how big of a family I have. But just understanding, like, as you grow up, you have that feeling of, or I had that feeling of, like, oh, this is my family. They love me. They always mean my well being. They don't mean anything that will harm me. And as you get older and you experience certain things, I experienced a lot of backlash for decisions or choices that I made that people did not agree with. I experienced a lot of heartache from people who, defective humans, as
Mhm.
you call them,
Mhm.
defective humans who may not know how to love correctly or have their own baggage going on, or are trying to vicariously live through me, which I did experience too at one point. But as I gotten older, I realized that a lot of those things weren't even love. A lot of it it's just baggage. It's people who share the same blood as you, and because they share the same blood as you, they feel like they have an opinion that you should consider a fact because y'all should share the same blood. So I'm actually going to go that route instead of going relationship route. Like I said, I did actually, getting older, and Ty is one of them, I ran into people who I now consider family. Like, those are the people that I know for a fact love me, care about me, mean my well-being, will never harm me, will never lead me down a certain path, will never give me an opinion or even state of fact, that will lead me down the wrong way, or that will be, what's the word I'm looking, manipulative, or any of those type of things. So that is one of the major things that I did learn, is like, all family, y'all don't share love all the time.
So
Yeah.
instead of the experience of love, what it was for you was dictatorship.
Yeah.
More of what I say, go, obey or submit, into that, to where you didn't really have a voice or a choice in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Miss Shelly Shell,
What it do? What it do?
no hiding today.
No, I ain't hiding.
I
I'm
know you got some.
listening.
I know you got some stories too for us.
Man, child, where you at? But just piggybacking off Simone, I'm just so proud of you for recognizing that, and teaching other people how to do it as well, to live your own life, and
Mm-hmm.
not to just. A lot of people are timid and don't have a, some people don't necessarily have a mind of their own, and they're just doing what they're told, and what they're told to do is not what God wants them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very powerful and solid within yourself to be able to step out on your own
Mm.
journey. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just following the instructions of somebody else. So
Thank
that was
you.
powerful. Yes, girl. Thank you for that. What?
I'm just waiting for you to come.
What, Lord? What?
I'm just waiting for you to go.
Oh, what else was
You
the
gotta answer the question too. See, she know that.
So for me, I can speak about family as well. And definitely the relationships that I've been in. Every relationship, like I've said previously on the show, every relationship I've been in, I saw before it happened how it was going to happen. Like, I knew
Mm.
that it wasn't going to work out. Like, literally, I saw how it was going to pan out, and it panned out every single time exactly as I thought it would. Um, so I think for me personally, it wasn't even lust versus love. It was just me trying to paint a picture for myself,
Mm.
rather than going through the process that's required to get the type of love, to
Right.
not even get the type of love, but to receive the type of love, that God really has for me. I was being impatient and just picking a person like, okay, you seem like you got a good heart. You have some good character traits, let's do this. And
Right.
sometime in our season of singleness and sometimes loneliness, you know, we we are impatient and we do try to put the pieces together ourselves rather than allowing God to put them together for us and present it to
Mhm.
us and be in position when he presents it to us to receive it. So for me, yeah, all of them was a false sense of love. It was more like, I don't know, a partnership, which I think a lot of people are getting into these days,
Which
like
is
a
like
partnership.
transactional. Mhm.
Yeah, I cook and clean and all this and that. You be the man of the house
Right.
type stuff. And I want, a holistic relationship. I know what I can provide. I know what I can offer. I know
Mhm.
I can lift a man up and I can be all these things for a man so that he can be his best self. But what can you give me
Mhm.
spiritually?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What can you give me mentally? And that's where my heart has been. And I think having that at the forefront of my decision making will help me to properly like choose the person that's the healthiest for me. So that part, and not just what's in his wallet or how he look or what job he got.
Would you say that you stayed in certain situations predicated off of love longer than you should have?
Yes, because I'm a person that loves hard, and I'm also a person that sees, love covers a multitude of things. So a
Hmm.
lot of times we might see those red flags of a person, but we have these quote unquote feelings. And so we kind of make excuses for those red flags and just try to hold on to something that God wanted us to release because it was causing harm to us.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people are in that position right now connected to people that are causing harm to them, and I think I think the hesitation of leaving those situations is a fear of loneliness and a fear of just being in a season by yourself. And that's the season when you have to lean on God the most.
Yeah.
And it could be scary just being real. It could be
Yeah.
scary.
Not for
you
me,
know.
but I feel you.
You gotta hug your pillow at night, Lord. So
Pillow be feeling good. I nice
it's
cushions.
peaceful. It's
Yeah.
peaceful, but after a certain amount of time, you do want your person. You do.
But that I think that's where that's where the separation of men and women come in, because women, we were meant for that. Like we were
Yes.
meant to have, you know what I'm saying, to have basically somebody to, you know what I'm saying,
I
do that
want
with.
to be able
Yeah,
to cater to
it's
somebody.
a little
I want
easier
to
for
be.
y'all to, you know what I'm
That's
saying.
crazy to say.
It's a little bit easier. It
I
is.
beg to differ. I think that is equally there. I think that just the expression is different. I think with women, they're more expressive towards the effect on how it is for them. Men, we're not as expressive, but that doesn't mean that we don't deal with it on the magnitude or as intense as women do, because it does happen. Like how God made women receivers, he made men givers. So we need someone to give to just as much as you need someone to give to you. So I think it's equally there in roles. It's just again not as publicized as it is for women than it is for men.
Which is not healthy for y'all in any way, shape, or form. Y'all need to be more expressive. Y'all have emotions. To me, that's attractive for a man
Mm,
to not kind of wear his heart on his sleeve. And,
mm.
I don't
I
know.
mean, there's a such thing as too emotional or too sensitive. So too much of anything is bad, even
That's
if
for
it
men
sounds
and
good.
women. But I think
Well,
most of
yeah.
y'all were programmed to think that,
Vulnerability is not a thing.
exactly. And it's a
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, it is in the right area.
I mean, I don't want my man to just be crying all the time.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Listen, by
But-
myself, I'm an alpha woman by myself. So you come to me like that, I'm telling you, you're going to run me over.
But
You
I
gotta
think
tell a
it
man
might be
up.
a good balance. I think it might be a good balance
Yeah.
to a certain extent
No.
because I want him to trust me enough with his feelings. Like I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want a facade.
Right.
I want him to be able to be around me happy, mad, you know, sad, whatever it is. But I see what
It's
you're
a red
saying.
flag though for you to do that and me not to show you that you can do that.
So okay, so how do you show a man, and it's a little off topic, but how do you show a man that he can be vulnerable with you and be safe with you?
From a woman, from my perspective as like being a virtuous woman,
Mm-hmm.
how you carry yourself, being delicate, you know what I'm saying, doing those things that are showing him that you show interest in what he has going on.
Okay.
Even if he is not vulnerable with you, you can still allow him space. Like if you know he had a hard day or he came in and you're not knowing why he's responding a certain type of way, and maybe he's not being vulnerable to you at that moment and he's not letting you in, but you still doing those things that would maybe ease, you know what I'm saying, his
Yep.
day, ease his pain, make him feel comfortable. Those are the things that, you know what I'm saying. Then
Over
after that,
time.
then it's like a, you gonna be vulnerable, what are we
Okay.
doing, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying. But for you to come to me like that and you don't know what type of woman I am,
Yeah.
I could be a woman that would take that, and I could be a Delilah, I can
Right.
destroy you.
Right.
Like, you don't know if I'm that type of woman. So for you to come to me like that and me to not even show you, or it not have been any time for me to show you that you can do that with me, that would be a red flag for me.
So him having that wisdom.
That would be a
Okay.
red flag. Yeah,
I
because
got
to me that mean any woman that come in,
It's gonna be
you're gonna do that. That's a red flag for me.
And see, me looking at it, you have that spirit that makes everyone want to be vulnerable with you. She does that. That's natural.
Yeah.
But I think it could be just the way that they do it too.
Yeah, it's certain stuff.
Yeah.
Like I know my calling.
Yeah.
So sometimes it just ain't fair. Y'all ain't even got a choice.
Right.
The Lord bring you straight to me and you just start talking. So I get it. I understand it. Trust me, it happens on a daily basis. People tell me their life story all the time.
Yes.
So with that just has to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like my calling. But there's like a certain
level.
there's a certain level. Yeah, like you come in telling me like, yeah, so my social security number is like, I'm gonna be like,
Right.
yeah, that's a little, that's
Yeah.
not
you want
even,
somebody
you ain't
can
even
look
getting that
up
close.
to. You want somebody that you can look up to. Yes. That's
You
what
want to build towards vulnerability.
Yeah,
You don't
I
want to
wanna feel like,
automatically just
yeah.
because it sometimes it can be too much for someone at once.
Mhm.
Especially when you have your own things you're dealing with when it comes to vulnerability. So I definitely agree and understand with that. And it's something that you said when you was talking earlier that I kind of want you to expound on, right, to the people.
Here we go.
What do it means to love hard? Because you said you love hard. What do that look like?
So for me, and it's different for other people, but me loving hard mean I'm very committed.
Mhm.
I don't cheat. I'm not going to make you feel less than. I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm going to cover you financially if needed. Don't want to, but if I'm in that position, that's what I'm going to do with my partner. And so God knows me. He knows that I'm whoever I connect to and I partner with, they're getting my all. You know what I'm saying? So that's dangerous for me to connect to a person that's, I hate to say, not worthy of the same things that I have to give, but it's true. If they don't have it to give, if they don't have loyalty to give, if they don't have respect to give, you know what I'm saying? Those underlining things of a relationship, if they don't have that to give, then no, they're not deserving of that from me. So, yes, loving hard for me is giving all that I have to give to a partner. That's it, and that's all. So,
At so at one point, right, when it's hard for you, right, because it becomes hard when, as you said, you giving it to the wrong individual, right? At one point, do you decide, okay, this is doing more to me than it is doing for me?
so all of the past relationships, they all hit a breaking point, and I'm talking about rock bottom. So there were signs for me to get out earlier, and now I've matured and gained some wisdom that I can recognize some signs and detach sooner than later. But it was all like at the bottom of the barrel that I decided to get out, whether it was one that involved a domestic violence situation, one that involved cheating, which we ain't gonna talk about right now.
Right. I mean, we
But
can
it
talk
was
about it all.
but it was things that happened that we're not returning from. One, public humiliation, things that, and for me, as soon as you're with another woman, I usually am just like, no, no
Right.
comeback. So, but that's another conversation for another day.
And I got this question for both of y'all, and Simone, you can answer this first. With love, what is the order of love? Who do it starts with, and where do it ends?
What you mean? Like who
With
should
self.
in a relationship? Or are you saying like
Just in
period?
general,
In general?
who it starts with and where it
Oh yeah,
ends.
you because if you don't learn how to love yourself, you are incapable of teaching anyone around you how to love you. Like, and I've been in this position
We're gonna
before.
revisit this order too when y'all both done. But
Yeah.
I want you to continue.
Okay. But I've been in this position before where I'm like looking for love, looking for love, looking for love. But it wasn't until I went on my journey to like self love and learning how to love myself and learning how to accept what I had going on and start to grow and all these things before I realized that like why was I even looking for anyone to love? Because I wouldn't have even been able to identify who was the right person to love me because I didn't know what I needed for you to love me. Like it took for me to go through my transition to be like, okay, here's a list of things I need, and then here's a list of things I just want. I don't
Mm.
need my want list. And I don't necessarily always want my need list, but this is what I need and this is what I want. So now, in you know what I'm saying, being in that situation, I'm able to be like, okay, well, if you're not coming with this, we there's no conversation here at all, like at all. But if you're coming with this and maybe you got a couple of these, like, okay, that's cool. You don't necessarily need them, but that's fine. Like I could work on it. I could work with that. So I believe you. Um, but learning to love you also comes with learning God's love, which I'll let you touch on. So go
That was good. I'm trying to figure out this show, Lord.
She
But go
ain't how to
ahead.
tell you. Don't let her back get no time.
No, what? I'm listening. Listen
What's the
today, y'all.
order
I
of
am
love?
list. I have four, three, two co-hosts. I am listening and learning. I'm listening and learning. I'm absorbing today and observing.
Yeah, but this gonna be an interactive audience too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always
So
got
let's hear
something
that
to
order.
offer. So for me, it's the same. Of course, it's God, and then it's loving ourselves. And I had to learn that over time because I didn't always have the proper amount of self love for myself. I was loving other people more than I was loving myself, and loving other people that were not willing to pour into me as much as they poured into themselves. So it was very lopsided. And thank God for maturity and wisdom and growth and all that good stuff. But yeah, for me, the order of love is I can't take care of you if I'm not taken care of.
Mhm.
So I got to make sure I'm taken care of first, whether it's my partner, family member, friends, my son. I got to be okay first. And that's the best lesson I've learned in life so far. And then after that, yes, you get the overflow. Everything that I have to give you, you can have it. Everyone around me. So
And I
my
ask that
Lord.
question oftentimes because most of the time that either the order isn't completed or the order doesn't even begin at all. Not even a lot of people have the answer to that question. Of course, we understand that it first starts with God because God is love. And in the midst of it starting with Him, God teaches us how to love ourselves. In the midst of us learning how to love ourselves, we learn how to love others, which is the third order on that list. Is after God, it's you. After you, it's others, and it's back to God after that. Because when it's all said and done, and you have to give an account when for your life and the love that you gave in this life and the love that you exude, like you're gonna have to answer to Him, and He's going to have to approve rather and disprove whether you did what you're supposed to do. The first commandment, of course, is to love thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind. And after that, He commanded them that to love one another as you love
Yes, sir.
yourself. So you only capable of giving love as much as what lies within you. And oftentimes we try to, like how you spoke just a moment ago, we try to give love where we don't have the love to give. And sometimes it's okay to be honest within ourselves. We just don't got it. And this is why Solomon said that there's sometimes it's good to embrace, and there's moments where you don't need to embrace because you have nothing to give. And sometimes when you try to give where you have nothing to give, you end up hurting that person that didn't need that in the moment. They needed something that you didn't have. One thing that I had to learn through that is oftentimes I remember and you were a person I was calling you and Courtney, my guardian angels, how basically they always made it this big deal about how my heart was. And I remember God telling me too, like he told me, he said, let me teach you how to utilize the heart that I gave you, because I was just trying to be there for everybody. Even when I didn't have nothing to give, I would try to give something. And oftentimes, like, that person didn't get what they needed to at its full potential. And I also was missing out on things even the more, and I was suffering the most. So they seen me suffering from it, and oftentimes I had to understand when God was teaching me, like, no, you only can give what you have within you. And if you don't have it, it's okay to direct them to someone who do. And that's where we have our
That's
loved ones, our
humbling.
friends, and things come into play, because sometimes we want to be the one to help, and uh
That's humbling.
I would go, hey, I don't got it, but I know somebody, that may can help you, etc. And I've been doing it a lot lately, and she's been seeing that people who have been in need. I may not know how to do the job you need. Like, for instance, my barber, um, he needed some new floors and things like that done. I don't specialize in that, so but I know I told him, I'm like, hey, I can get you connected to these people, and they may can give you what you need. And it just turns out that not only that they were able to do the floors from, but renovate majority of his condo that he just got. So that was just a blessing within itself. And me, my last visit, I was paying him the money, like, nah, just you good. Like, I appreciate it. He gave it back. I still pay half, me being who I am, but at the same time, I appreciated that, just by directing him to a person who could help him with what he needed, actually benefited me too, out of that. So I've learned that recently, though. I struggled with it so much throughout the years, where God's telling me, protect your heart, and me not understanding that in its totality. Like, now that I get it, I'm like, man, it was a lot of things that I invited in unknowingly,
You
that I
can't
could
be
have been more
everything for
mindful of.
everybody. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can't be everything for everybody, Top.
I was a dying hero.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing to do is to be that close to someone where you see what's happening when the lights go down,
Mm-hmm.
and behind the curtain you see
Mm-hmm.
how it's hurting the person. You see how they need the strength, they're trying to get through it, happening. And then also being on the flip side and seeing the receiver
Right.
like don't even really, they don't see that, so they don't care about it, they don't to do, because of the person, being someone who I cherish, who I love, who I respect, and stuff like that. So it's like so many times where we was just like, just cut him off, just
Yeah.
cut him off. And he's like, I can't do that. Why? Just cut him off. And it's like, not even necessarily trying to be mean or anything, because we're just helpful people. We're just like that, which is why we connected with each other. But with us, he taught us how to wait it out
Mm-hmm.
and give, even when we didn't want to. But we also had to teach him, hey, but there's a cutoff period. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go
Mhm.
beyond this sometimes. So yeah.
I think to me there's a two part to that. Hopefully I don't forget it, Jesus. But I think one part of that is the selflessness,
Mhm.
and when you're naturally selfless, sometimes you hurt yourself to help others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then on the other end of that, thank you for me not forgetting, Lord. Um, don't let me forget, Jesus. The other part of that is, I think that's a journey towards humility, because we are not God. We're not God. We are not God. we cannot do Superman or Superwoman for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that are in that position of being in a relationship with someone that is unequally yoked, a lot of times they're giving what they wish they received from someone. They're giving the type of love, although they're not receiving it, they're giving the type of love they wish they had. They're giving that covering, you know what I'm saying? And and that's why a lot of times I think people say, like the nice hearted, the kind people are the first to get hurt, you know, because a lot of those people, they're attached to people that, you know, just can't give them what they give.
Yeah.
And so I hope my prayer, my hope is for you to identify the type of relationship, the type of union that you're in. Identify, like Simone said. I remember you saying this, Simone. I think tie heads your life, you know, as opposed to what you're adding to them, and not just surface level.
Right.
How are they pouring into you mentally? How are
Yeah.
they pouring into you emotionally? Is that man? It's a lot of men out here that will fall in love with a woman because of how she looks, her curves, because she's a caterer, the things that she offers, all of that. But would he put himself before you? You know, would he put you before that appointment, or you know, when it comes to time? Like how high is he placing you in his life? You know, look at those things before you call yourself being in love with someone that bought you a Birkin bag.
Yeah.
Is a Birkin bag a thing? I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
not
So lust and love, y'all. You know, what are we subjecting ourselves to? And and lust does, like, don't it feel like love initially? You're attracted to this person. They look like they offer the right things. You've been lonely for a while. Is it just me? I don't know.
That's about how it happened.
one, one more thing
That's how it
before we get into lust. I want to ask y'all this question. Do you believe love is unconditional?
You asking me or Song? Because you looking at me.
Both. Both.
You go first.
If I'm gonna go first, you know I'm gonna say yes. You know I'm gonna say yes. And I know that a lot of people believe that love should have conditions. And I say being attached to me has conditions. Yes, being connected to me, yes. There are certain things, that certain criteria that you have to meet to be connected to me. And because I need your connection to be healthy for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as me loving a person, I feel like you always love them because you always want the best for them, regardless of what the situation was. Even if y'all, you know, part ways. I want the best for every ex that I've ever had. I promise you, even the one that put his hands on me, I still want the best for that person. And, you know, God take care of the rest. Not my business. So,
That's a strong fair. That's a
yeah.
strong fair.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I believe love is unconditional. Period. That period. Yeah, you know, the what I when I look at when I say love is unconditional is I look at how God loves, right?
Yes.
Because God's love is our example. People are always really quick to say God is love, but if you really actually go into depth of what that means, you will really understand what it means to love. That's why you have to be careful with saying I love you. Like, you have to really be careful with saying I
That's
love
right.
you. Like, maybe you just appreciate that person, like, or maybe you're trying to get to a point of loving them, but actually saying I love you, like, I look at the way that God loves, and the Bible says that if you lift your eyes up in hell, God still loves you.
Mm.
A consequence came from your actions, from the things that you did, from the way that you lived your life, but he still loves you.
Yeah.
So I take that as my example of how to love. Yes, there may be the actions action that I will do to show my love to you.
Right.
Maybe I have to show my love from afar. Maybe I have to show my love in different ways. Maybe I can't allow you that close to me, but I can still say that I fully love you, even if I have to, push you away a
Distance
little
myself.
bit.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing. God has to give you your consequence for sin or whatnot, but he will still love you.
Exactly. And that is such a perfect example because sin separates us from the presence of God. So those are the conditions.
Mhm.
You have to be in a certain position to tap into God. Well, you got to be in a certain position to tap into what I have to offer, my
Right.
energy, my space.
Mhm.
So that is such a great example, Simone, of those conditions attached to love versus unconditional love.
And I agree with y'all in terms of love is unconditional. And I truly believe that no one would truly love until you learn how to love somebody through something. The moment you love somebody through something, even when it doesn't feel good. And I remember having recent people to speak to me about this recently that they had noticed about how I am. So I can love somebody through something, but it's going to not going to be to my detriment. But that doesn't take away from my love that I have for you. Like she said, you'll have to put certain boundaries there to ensure, in fact, that you are still functional, and whatever the person that they decide to be in the moment is not affecting you in a detrimental way, to where you begin to attack or be a certain way to the people around you. But I'm able to still love you. I don't love you any less regardless of what you've done. But again, I know I would know where to replace you. There is process to things you guys, with that aspect. So going into lust, what is
It's like that chocolate that you want to eat that might give you a cavity if eat it. To me, it's good.
all right,
Like
she love dark skinned
I'm
men.
not
That's
gonna
what she
wait. What did you
what's
just
what she
say?
putting out there.
What
Like
did you
Said
just say?
chocolate.
Did you say chocolate? What is it?
you said
But
that
you
that's
said
chocolate just with a
No,
great desire. Wait,
I'm
you
telling
can.
it's Lord. No, but you do like what you like, Lord. I like what God has for me. If he light skin,
She always, they
if he a
always
different
say that I like
complexion,
God had for me. As soon as God say this the one for you, they finna go and critique
whatever
everything
God
about that
has for
man.
me, I'm good with, y'all.
I don't know, his
But
shoulders a
lust
little
is
up.
something I'm not gonna.
I got a preference.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
fit.
gonna lie.
Oh, I want to know what your preference is off camera. I
Mm-mm.
want to know off
I was
camera.
gonna say not on this camera.
Yes, off camera.
Get these man's feelings hurt.
Yeah. I want to know. But lust feels good. It's desirable. You know what I'm saying? But it's death at the end of it. It's toxic at the end of it. There's no substance there. So surface level lust is a temptation.
Oh, it's on me. Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, yeah, lust is temptation. Honestly, like the short version, lust is artificial love.
Mm. Mm.
Love is the natural version.
Bars.
I
Lust
like
is the
that.
artificial
Yeah,
Bars.
I
version.
like that. I like that.
I
Genetically
love
modified
that.
in the way that it sees fit to your
Mhm.
liking and taste. I
They
like that.
adding extra GMOs.
Yeah.
It's artificial.
Yeah, that's good.
Lust is extreme wantiness. Is just an extreme desire. And that can come in multiple ways. I know that we always introduce it in the way of physicality and as far as attraction between a woman and a man, but it can be for other things outside of
Energy.
that.
Yes.
Just a strong desire, anything that you can potentially idolize in your life, is what lust can pretty much stem from. And I'm sure that we all been in a situation, we all been into things that lust has got a hold of us, by whether it's through the eyes or through the flesh. So explain one of those times. We're going to spare you this time of going first, Lachelle, since you want to get time to
Why I
think
gotta
about
be a
it.
spare? I'm a brave
Because
woman. Okay.
every time we go first with you, she want to not twiddle her phone. She want
I
to.
was making
Oh,
sure
what we
the
talking about it?
podcast was good, Lord.
So I'm gonna give you time to think about it today, Simone.
A lustful experience. Let me see.
I mean, technically, I'm going through something now.
Say it is my experience. I believe it is. I believe my experience to loving myself. I believe I went through an experience of lust first. Um, I believe the me going through my masculine stage was that. I believe
That's
that.
so hard to picture.
I believe that, and I thank you. Y'all don't understand.
I remember Simon.
Yeah, I don't understand. But yeah, I believe that was that. It was something that I thought I wanted, something that I thought I needed until I got in it. And I realized like this wasn't it. This wasn't it. I very much want to be feminine. Thank you.
Amen.
Yep.
So what you're saying is that the desire, the extreme desire that you had at the moment was um, the facade of masculinity,
Yeah.
that you realized that once you obtained that, that it basically didn't benefit you much, but actually took from you in the moment.
Yeah. So the desire that I had, let me be specific. So the desire that I had, which led me into the masculinity in the first place, was me growing up in number one, feeling like I didn't have a voice, feeling like everyone around me was dictating how my life went, being in an experience where I was so sheltered to where when I did become an adult and did get into the world, I was so clueless to how things worked that I just wanted to control it. I just wanted to grab it and control everything that was happening because I didn't understand what was going on, why this was like this, why this person was treating this like I didn't understand. And instead of me diving into my femininity and learning how to deal with the emotions that were being thrown at me or that I was experiencing, the choice that I chose was to allow masculinity to take over and for me to somewhat shut down those emotions. And it took for me to be in it and for me to understand that number one, God did not design us like that. So there was a lot of what do you want to call them? There was a lot of, you got a bottle of emotions, the old science trick when you got the bottle and you put the Mentos and you shake it. Once you pop that,
Explosion.
there was a lot of that. But understanding in that experience, like, okay, this was not what I was looking for. What I actually later on realized that I was looking for is I was just looking for someone to explain to me how to deal with all of these emotions because I didn't understand. I did not understand why all of these emotions were so high the way that they were, why I could not control them. So yeah, the lust was me so badly wanting to just control what was happening because I didn't understand.
And would you say that while you was in it and you were going through your struggles, obviously as you spoke, it affected you, but did it affect also the people around you? And then, if so, then in what ways?
Yeah, terribly because like me not knowing me learning how to love myself, me not knowing that, I also had people around me who I so desperately wanted to love and cherish and respect and all of these things because they were doing all of these things to put up with what I was dealing with at the time. But it seemed like the more and more I tried to like, no, wait, I do love you. It's like, no, I was hurting them like every chance, every chance, every chance, every chance. And it literally had to get to the point of me possibly losing these people for me to be like, okay, it's really just I don't know where I'm at. It's really just like these are a flood of emotions that I don't know how to deal with. And those people, I did have to have a conversation. I did have to somewhat distance myself from them in order for me to just deal with me. Like I had to literally just have to face me in order to do that. So it definitely put a huge effect on not only just those people who, you know, were friends, but also family, myself, work environment, literally everything around me. You know how when you blessed, everything around you turns to gold.
Right.
Well, when you in that type of a situation, everything around you is like turn black. Like everything just go wrong. Nothing is happening right. Everything go downhill. When you want to respond correctly, like you don't know how because you've taught yourself the masculine part of it. So I was just responding aggressively to everyone, responding aggressively to every situation instead of applying logic, instead of applying love. Like, so yeah, it definitely affected everything around me.
And thank God you're not in that season no more.
No,
And you can
thank
teach
God.
other people
Very
how to
much
get
so.
out of it as well. And sometimes, see, to me, that's so powerful because before we get to anything else, we have to deal with self. And a lot of people, we're not doing that. Sometimes you do need that season to be by yourself. You do need that season to figure out your own emotions so that you can have a healthy relationship with another person, regardless if it's a friend, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So until you dish all that stuff out yourself, you shouldn't even think about partnering with somebody else, and even getting your family relationships
Yeah.
back on a healthy foundation, and then come back with that emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
come back with all that.
And it is the hardest thing.
Yeah,
It is
because
the
you face
hardest thing to
yourself.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you really have to, it's almost like being locked in a, it's almost like being locked in one of those rooms where everything is a mirror.
Yes.
And it's
That's
like
so powerful.
you're turning around and you're seeing all of these different faces, right? Because this is literally just literally like kind of a glimpse of my mind full of mirrors. And every face, they're all scary. You don't like none of them, but they're all you. So every time you turn, you're seeing them. It's scaring you. You don't like it. You want it to just stop, but it's not going to stop because it's you. It's all of the different faces that you've put on, all of the different facades that you've put on, all of the different characteristics that you've taken on to try to protect the fact that you just don't know what you're doing. You don't love yourself. You don't know what you're doing. So all of these experiences that you've gone through in life, you've taken on all of these characteristics. So it's literally like having to deal with that, and you just got to deal with it. Like until you get to a point of vulnerability to where you can be taught, to where you understand that the person or the people who are going to be your guidance in that moment, and even God, until you realize that these people are not there to hurt you, to harm you, and you actually allow them to teach you how to deal with that, and you don't take it as an offense every time someone tells you that you're doing something wrong, or every time someone tells you that no, that's not right. When you really understand that, okay, I put myself in this bubble of wrong, so it feels like everything I do is wrong because everything I've been doing is wrong. Like until you really realize that, that's the hardest part of self-growth. Once you get over that part of it, you gonna fly.
Yeah.
And you know it's okay to
That's
give
so
yourself a
good.
button, right? Like
Oh,
you can
yes. That was so
you're in
good.
charge. Now don't overlook the gift that God has given you.
That
So
was good.
Lachelle,
That was good. What it do? Do I need the glasses on for this one? Hold on.
open up some of those closets that are hidden within your house
I am
and
an
and
open
and
book.
and let out what's in there so we can see.
Steam Jesus.
Because you said that you are currently in a position of whether you are trying to identify the love or lust factor.
And see, Lord.
Speak on it.
See, this is where I'm at because there's that part of me that wants to love how God loves us. I want to love other people that way. And honestly, it's easy for me to do that. And that's the scary part because I can love you past the pain that you've caused me in the past if it's not repeated, you know. But that's that position that you're kind of in. Once a person makes a mistake, do you protect yourself and continuously distance yourself from this person, or are you being challenged to forgive what you forgive regardless and give them a clean slate? So I think back into my life, is I am very attracted to him. He's a very attractive person, um, good head on the shoulders, very successful, all of those things. So surface level, a lot of women want to date him. Surface level,
Mhm.
that is not enough for me. It's not enough for me. For me, lust is like dropping a pin in a hole that doesn't end. Like it's never that lust never fills it up.
It's a
It's
rabbit hole.
right.
Mm.
It's a rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Exactly. And love, actual love, that does fill up that hole completely. There's an overflow after you pour the love in. So I don't want the rabbit hole. And I think this person has been pursuing God and pursuing his relationship with God. And I think that's great. And to me, that gives like a little light. But at the same time, I'm so much in a place right now where I'm wise enough to take my time. I'm wise enough to know that I don't have to have all the answers today, and that I can take that time to just see what it is, what needs to be revealed shall be revealed. And I can
Mhm.
protect myself in the process of that. So
Just to add in something that you said, I'm gonna let you go, Simone.
I was trying to speak on the situation.
It
please, Jesus.
and when you said right, where when a person right repetitive right do this thing again, and it becomes repetitive in a sense, after the first two times, um, Jesus put it this way in the Bible. He said that a blind man, when he fall into a ditch, after he fall, he would start counting him steps. So he understands how he not would be able
Fall
to fall in
again.
that ditch again.
Exactly.
So oftentimes it is okay to rearrange some things, after you fall the first time, because again, we have to have a process of learning how not to be there again. Um, and I'm gonna let you go before I touch on this last thing that I want to touch on about it.
Okay. I was gonna say consistency is key. Someone who is putting on a facade or someone who is not fully where they need to be,
It's not gonna last
they
forever.
can only do it for so long. So, but also remember, with us being spiritual beings and making the decisions that we did to live for God,
Right.
remember that the enemy know what you desire,
Mhm.
the enemy know what you crave, he know what you want. And if you put a time frame instead of an action, he knows your time frame. So the enemy can keep this going as
That's
long as it
powerful.
takes to make you feel more comfortable to
Right.
get into the situation. So a lot of it is really just asking God for clarity, asking God for answers like, hey, and honestly, the way y'all go wrong now, I'm speaking to y'all because I got to touch on my females. Oh, every time I got to come at y'all sideways every time.
Touch on it.
What we do is we go and we pray for a situation that we already made our mind up about. And we go, Lord, Lord, if this is the one, please show me a sign. See, that's where you went wrong right there. Because in your mind, he the one. So any little thing you see is a sign that say he's the one. You can see a billboard that say one, and you like that. There we go. The Lord told me. No, no, he didn't,
Yeah,
sis.
yeah,
No, he did not. No,
yeah.
he did not.
Women
But
do that a lot
a
too.
lot, a whole lot. Like that had nothing to do with you, baby. They was advertising that you can get $1 off that
So
next meal.
A four for four.
that's
Oh, my
funny though,
husband 4 feet.
because he sent me a picture with him and his like crew, and I looked at the picture and I zoomed in, and above it was an exit sign, but all you saw was the E and the X. So I circled the X and sent the picture back to him like, look, that's God showing you, you my ex.
See now, but that's
You
different
stay
though
in that
too,
Right, that's
position.
because
different
that's
because you
something
didn't
that you
even.
wasn't looking for. It came to you,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
true.
and you
That's true.
identified it.
True.
So that's a different sign.
True. Now
Because
for
I'd have had
me,
people, oh, I want this, and then they'll go on Facebook, they scroll and see, oh yeah, see, this is right here.
yep.
Like,
So
no.
let me tell y'all this, man. So this is my positioning. I enjoy his company. I enjoy, hanging out with him. He's a good friend. I be wanting to play pool. I want to, dress up nice. He's a good person to hang out with. I feel safe with in that regard. I do not trust this man to lead my family. I do not trust this man to be in that position to lead me because I just don't trust him in a holistic aspect of me. So although I keep telling him I need time, although I keep telling him, I honestly, I'm so honest with it. I tell him I don't see it and I don't trust you. And he keeps saying, just give it time, just give it time. God told me it's you. Give it time. Exactly. Exactly, Lord. God done told all my exes, Jesus, it was me, Lord. Um, but
It is you. It is you. You the one they gonna drain.
Target, yes.
You the one they gonna pull
Target,
from.
yes.
You the energy
Jesus.
that they looking for. It is you.
Yes, Lord.
You ain't
Yes,
lying.
Lord.
It's you.
So guard my heart is the end result of that.
I
Mhm.
want
So
to say this because this is highly important.
lust and love, y'all.
Um, highly important, and I had to learn this, that lust doesn't necessarily have to be in you, but it can be after you too,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a spirit, right? I had to learn this in a different way, because when we looked at the Eve moment, right, it came, right, it desired, and lust had its thing. If anybody have had a spirit of lust in a strong way, it has a way to having a stronghold upon you. Um it 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 does exactly what its name entails, like lust. It's going, if it wants you, it's going to do everything in its power to have you. And I remember being married at this time. I wasn't battling lust or anything like that. I wasn't even desiring women outside of my wife. Um, but I remember when the door, got left open, and the enemy kind of crept through. Now all of a sudden, all of these women start
Running
doing
to me,
certain
y'all.
things that wasn't being done like as consistent before. Like it was just this extreme desire after me. And I remember telling her, like, going home, like, look, there's a spirit of lust after me, etc. Like, um, being able to identify the moment, oftentimes will keep us actually from that spirit as well. Um, like how you said, him believing that God told him, it could have been somebody else, but I don't believe it was God. The reason why I say that, I remember having this moment in high school before I met my ex-wife. I remember meeting this girl before her, and the voice told me, y'all gonna be together, right? Maybe 2 3 weeks later, we together. And she forced herself on me. I accepted it. She was an attractive girl, good girl. And right after that, while I was actually with her, a voice told me, this is going to be your wife, to who my ex-wife was. Two different voices, and obviously two different outcomes. One led me to God, and one really was putting me in a dark place that fed everything dark about me. Because that
Mm.
was the woman that I first met. She had a troubled background as such as I did. She was cutting herself and doing all these things. We had a very, very toxic relationship, where we fed from what we done to one another. Um, for us, that was pleasure, and excitement. Um, let
Mm-hmm.
alone while I'm with the woman who God spoke and said that this is going to be your wife. And ultimately, again, through her, God using her voice at times where I was hard headed and didn't want to listen. Um, where it was a moment where He utilized that allowed me to choose family, or choose the other way, and I chose family to go forth. So, oftentimes, as I said, that spirit of lust comes in the way of what we feel like we need or desire, and oftentimes, and this is how God gave it to me. Love will cover what you need, and lust will cover what you want. And this is why God says throughout the Bible, I'll supply all your needs. I'll give you everything you need. You will have everything you need. He doesn't spend too much time on your wants because he understands that he has to clean you up first. He said he will give you the desires of your heart, but he's not talking about the wicked heart that you have. God said that when you come within him, he'll give you a new heart. And with that new heart, he will give you the desires that come with that because your desires will line up with his will. And this is where we fall victim in the lack of understanding, because I've heard people, God said he give me the desire of my heart and I want a husband like this, or I want a wife like this, that, and the third. And I'll be looking like, now you
What
know.
you need.
Like now it's more than like, as you said, the surface level, right? Okay, physicality check, right? How does he stimulate you and promotes
Intellectually.
mental growth and
Yes.
and 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 optimism, in terms of, in the sense of open-mindedness? What can he teach you mentally, right? How can he
Yes.
feed you mentally? If that's not checked, right, let's say it is checked, okay, spiritually, how do he lead you spiritually? How do he pour into your soul spiritually? God told me it's four gates that you have to be mindful of. We stop at the physicality of it, not understanding that we still have the mental, we have the emotional, and we have the spiritual. Those gates have to be covered. If this person cannot provide or pour into that, as you said, if you don't trust him to lead your home, lead you mentally, that's checked off.
When we first met, I called him vacation because that's what we could have so much fun together.
I got a
Exactly.
story.
Sound like lust, don't it?
I could have so much fun together.
Run, baby, run.
They- you know, and I believe he truly has a desire to be all the things that he claims he wants. I believe that.
Hmm.
I don't think he has the discipline
Right.
as of yet to do
Mhm.
that. And I don't want to be in a line fire of your lack of discipline.
Right.
So that part.
Be careful though too, because you said you enjoy
We
his
have fun
company,
together.
and y'all are building a bond. It's a
Mhm.
bond. The
Yeah.
longer it lasts,
The harder it
you
is.
know what the answer
I
is.
know.
You know what
I
the
know,
answer
I
is.
know. I do know.
But the longer that
I
you
do
just
know.
allow the time, it's a bond. It's a bond, and eventually it
gets
just
harder
get
to
harder and
break.
harder to cut it. It get harder and harder.
There's always a process to
I wish we could
things.
just be friends.
Yeah, nah. But that's how the devil gets us, right?
Yeah.
He gives us into a way where it may be something that we want, right? But we'll want it so much, and this is where lust comes in. We'll want it so much that we overlook the need. What
Yeah.
do we need?
Yeah. And I'm
What
not
is it doing
sacrificing
for us?
myself for you. I'm not. I'm not doing
We
it.
can't afford that in
No.
today. We can't
But
afford
I
it.
have so many times in the past put myself aside to lift a whole grown man up. I can't do that no more. And I suffered, trauma and suffered all these things as a result of me doing that, me being silent, me pouring into a man that, felt some type of way if I was rising to the occasion as opposed to him. Like, I don't know what that is with this competition between men and women or whatever. I don't
It's
know.
what would happen. It's what would happen with anyone who is around someone who's growing.
Yeah.
If you're around someone who
And
is
they're not,
growing,
right.
and you're not growing
Or don't want to.
or
go in that
don't want
direction.
to, the work isn't being put in, and you see them rising, it's literally the help me
Because they're
out.
growing away from you.
Exactly. It's literally
That's
the
so good.
Joseph and his brothers
Yeah,
effect.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
literally that. Hey y'all, I had a dream where I was rising and y'all had to bow to me.
It was like,
What? Of course they're gonna have
and
a
if your heart
problem.
was in the right place, you would never have an issue bowing to your
Right.
brother
Yeah.
or somebody that you
Yeah.
truly love. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's
Yeah, it's so of course they're gonna have a problem. And I've experienced I got a list. I have experienced I'm still experiencing this.
Yeah.
But with the call that I have This just come with it. I just take it as a grain of salt. But you do experience that when you are around people who are not growing or who may not be on the same level that you are of growth. It's gonna be some type of it's basically like they're trying to look for where they fit
Right.
in your process. And unless you're on your process and you're on your road too, you're not going to fit. You're not gonna fit.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be like you're receiving from me because you don't have anything to give me.
Right.
Unless you are growing as well, and then we can share our growth process. You don't have anything to give me, and that's okay.
That's good. That's really good. And you're right. In those situations, that's when they kind of get a little envious of your own partner. And then you have the other situations where, don't let me forget, Lord, where it's like you're growing and they see it and now they're attracted to it. They don't really want to go where you're going because they don't want to do what's required to get there, but they don't want no one else to have the best version of you.
Exactly.
And part of me feels like I'm in that dilemma because he puts the minimum effort for it. And for him, this is what he says. And I just sit back and recognize all this thing because to me, a lot of things just be like, it's not an experiment, but it's like I'm like observing behaviors. So you can show me, you can say what you want all day long, but I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and I see from a different peripheral now. Because I am wise and I
know what to look for.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm seeing these things and what you're saying and your actions don't line up. But some of those people, what they'll do is they'll try their best. And again, what I was going to say is he puts forth minimum effort. And this is what he says, and this will paint a picture for y'all. He says, well, other women, I don't have to do anything. They do everything. For you, you're the only woman I would do these things for. And I'm looking at the things that he's doing like, this is nothing. You do nothing for me that one, I can't do for myself. You don't do anything monetary because I don't allow that, because I don't want to be in a position to but the little things that you do, I would think a friend does, help me move my couch, Jesus, stuff like that.
But if he feels as if that's already a lot for him, he can't do what's necessary or required.
Not to be my spouse, to be my friend. Yeah. And honestly, I can pour into you to a certain extent.
Yeah. I wouldn't entertain that as a friend either.
But that's because I'm already in a protected space. You can't penetrate my heart now. It's too late.
But I think that you do more damage to him, than you do to yourself, and I think that's exactly that's what we have to look at it in that way as well.
You doing better than me. This is exactly why I just stay in my bubble. Because
that's good.
Yeah.
What he said is good though, because what you dish out, you give back.
Right.
Yeah.
But although I'm very honest with I'm so honest with my words.
But you're still allowing it to be a thing.
Going out to, entertaining it almost. Because we're going out to dinner.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. And I enjoy the friendship, but I know it's not my forever.
Right.
So
because you
and just imagine when you get with your husband, how he's going to feel, even if he has a friend. That's something that you would have introduced into the marriage, going instead of dealing with that, because if he's like that in terms of, I said, I'm pretty sure if he doesn't provide anything outside of the physical aspect of it, it's really just lust on his end. Men have this thing about conquering, and if we feel like you've got away, we're going to double back. And that's just what it is. Especially if, and I'm speaking even through my experience, when you don't get a lot of no's at all and all you get is yeses, but then you finally get a no, oh yeah, that's a challenge to you and you're going to want to conquer that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
With both men
else, I'm sure does say yes to him. Absolutely.
And I was gonna say this for just men, but actually for both men and women, your truth still has to come with action. Because not everyone is gonna take your truth and just accept it as truth. And they're gonna take it as, like he said, they're gonna take it as a challenge. Okay, well, let me get this amount of time, or well, just give me time, just give me space,
Mhm.
because they're trying to change your mind, or they're trying to find out what key they can use to open that side
What
up that
strings
they
to pull.
want. Yeah, they're
And
trying to find their way.
I gave it some time. I allowed just that grace. I gave it some time. And in that time, I saw what I saw and it didn't line up. So then it's almost, it's not comical, but it's just like
Right.
you're not ready
Right.
for this. You're
Right.
just not, So
Yeah, my truth come with a block button.
That's
why I live a
you hear
very
me?
said you keep blocking
Peaceful
me.
life. I don't play
He's
no
been
games.
recently unblocked. He's been recently unblocked.
I will block anybody. I will block a friend, a family. I don't care who you.
Yeah.
It's also to the idleness. I've been a victim of that at times too. The idleness just of time and the mind.
Yeah.
Where it just entertainment. It's just something to do. And I said that just goes back to distractions. But we just got to keep in mind that in James it said, when lust is conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and when sin is finished, it bringeth forth death. And so there's a process, to it. And just remember that the devil comes and presents himself as an angel of light, and eventually he's going to have to be who he is. But at that moment, you're going to experience the light at the beginning. Until you continue in on it, but by then, usually for us, the spirit is kind of already wrapping himself, within our souls. So we just have to be mindful of that, as well. Lust is a tough spirit to overcome. I say this just a physical standpoint. It can be of anything that you have a extreme desire for. Yeah. And it feels so good that it's hard for you to just stop,
But it's feeding you, but it's feeding you toxicity. It's feeding you something that's killing you. It's just like drugs.
Yeah.
Putting drugs in, it feels
Yeah.
good. It
Yeah.
all feels good. It's satisfying something, but it's physically killing you. It's spiritually killing you. And I don't think I really, maybe for the next show we can really touch more on those soul ties and what actually I don't take the mask, the whatever it is, the cover off of what it really is to give your body, to combine your body with somebody, and the spiritual ramifications of that, the results of that. You know what I'm saying? People don't get that.
Yeah.
If you think sex is just sex, you are blind to the truth. I promise you, it is so much more than that.
Yeah. I tell people, like, I work with young people, so a lot of the times they forget that I'm not that much older than them, because the things that come out of my mouth, but a lot of the things that come out is one from wisdom, but also from some of my experiences. Like, when you go through experience and being a completely different person than who you are in your heart, like even the person that I see today isn't even fully who I believe that I really am.
No, not at
Like,
all.
it's not. And that's why I always strive to move further, work harder, and to continue to grow, because I know that God has given me this image of who I am. And until I see that person in the mirror, I'm not whole yet.
It's coming.
That's right.
And I tell all of my young people that, like, who you are, not luckily, but I'm blessed to have the gift to be able to see someone, and this is like a recent thing. Sometimes I will have conversations and I will see someone and I'll just instantly know, like, this is not you. None of this is you. I don't know if it's an experience that you went through. I don't know. It could possibly be a spiritual situation, but none of who I'm looking at is who you are.
It's spiritual for sure.
And it's like, when I speak to them now, God has given me the grace to speak to the person that they are.
Yes.
So I catch myself saying certain things, or making certain comment, even with me being a manager, and they're just like, how did you know that would affect me that way? And I just, you don't want to get into that conversation. Like, let's just continue our day. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Don't go down the rabbit hole. But yeah, there's so many things that lust brings, and honestly, we live in a world full of lust.
Yes.
A lot of these things are just lust. Everything is microwave
Yeah.
because of lust. you want it now, you want it quick, you want it fast,
Yeah.
you want it how you want it. Like a lot of things is just lustfully filled. So that is why it's always good, guys, to make sure that you are fasting. And fasting does not always mean turn the plate. Sometimes you may need to turn the TV off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to unplug the social media.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to cut your conversation off from that one friend that you know you're not supposed to be talking to like that. Like lust can it's a really huge thing, and it comes with the things that you love the most. The
Yeah.
thing that you feel like you can't live without. Starbucks, put it down. Like the
No, for
things
real.
that you feel
That's
like
That's
you
true
the
though.
love
Yeah,
discipline.
so
That's the
yeah.
much,
building of
like
discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
those
Building.
things that you feel like I cannot go a day without doing this, or I cannot go a day without talking to this person, or I can't go a day without experiencing this. Like those usually are the things where lust is right there, and it got you, and it's been having you for years, and you just going on a journey.
Amen to that. And adding on to that, if you speaking on a dating level, if your partner or person that you're trying to date or trying to date you, are they supportive of your fasting,
Mm.
or are they more so like whatever when you say it?
Unless you're already married. If you're already married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because then you must consider a
Yeah.
spouse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
but look at that, because
Mhm.
even him, I'm like, okay, I'm about to do a 21 day fast. I just, need to gain some clarity with some certain things. And he didn't offer to do it with me. I look at all of these things. He didn't
Right.
offer to do it with me. He wasn't very supportive about it. Doesn't have any desire to do it for himself. So I want a man that's going to lead me into a fast, and really understand the purpose of it.
But
You know,
too, it's not even that it was him, but it's the spirit that's operating through him
right.
that didn't
Mhm.
support that,
Right.
because it knew
Because he
what
knew,
potentially
and
comes
it's
with it.
it's yes,
Hmm.
me getting closer to the Father,
Hmm.
me being more in tune, to what he's speaking to me, and also ripping apart that spirit, from him
Yeah.
too. So yeah,
No.
that's crazy, y'all. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I love
and
these
I
conversations.
I haven't gone I haven't gone on a fast yet to where I didn't end the fast with clarity,
Yep,
Yeah.
an answer,
every time.
because I always go in with a question or a request. I haven't ended a fast yet where I haven't gotten that request, gotten an answer, or gotten clarity.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's scary, y'all. It is scary. Sometimes it's scary. I'll say that because
God will
sometimes
honor
I'll be
our
like,
sacrifice.
I know it, and then
Mm.
sometimes he'd be like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
yeah. God will
Yeah.
honor our sacrifice, and
Hmm.
as us, that's a way for us to prove ourselves to Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love our Father. He's great.
I know that we have to wrap up soon.
Yes.
So anything that we want to say last to end with the people, offer something that they can dissect and then meditate on.
I'm gonna just tell y'all real quick. I gotta look at the camera, Jesus. Um, you are the most important flower in your garden. So you need to make sure that your flower is protected, that you are watering your garden. You need to make sure you are okay. Stop looking for what you need in or want in another person. Give everything that you need and want to yourself. Add everything that you're lacking to yourself before you try to add it to another person. So, first and foremost, cater to you, focus on you, protect you, love on you. And as you're doing that, you will develop into the best version of yourself. You can't help but to, because all you're doing is watering you and growing and blossoming into a better you, and give yourself the time that you need to develop and become great, rather than feeling a sense of lack in an area in your life and then trying to fulfill that lack with something that's in somebody else. Don't do that. These are all things that I have done myself, and I've found so much peace, um, and joy, and just catering to me, and instead of trying to, you know, cater to someone that God didn't necessarily ordain to be in that position in my life. So protect yourselves, ladies. Protect yourselves. Close your legs, Jesus. I know I've been there too, but protect yourself. You're your most important flower in your garden. So, yeah. Know your worth. All right, go ahead.
Know your worth.
Know your worth.
That's
Know your
amazing.
worth.
That is amazing. I would say allow God to love you to who you need to be, and then look for you.
I love that.
That is a philosophy that I use for myself. Allow God to love me into who I know He has created me to be. And when the process I feel like is done or just about done, then I'm going to look for me. I'm going to look for the person that I know can give me me,
Amen.
because I know what I bring to the table at that point. As soon as you know what you bring, then it's like, okay, your requirement. And I've noticed that the more that I elevate, the more I'm like, yeah, none of y'all, you can't
Right.
even talk to me. I feel disrespected.
Yes, Lord.
I feel disrespected when you even feel like you built the courage to even say something. I feel disrespected. Like you don't qualify.
That's a woman that loves herself. One thing I always got to piggyback off Simone because she be dropping some gems, y'all. Where's the gem at?
Right, because she don't be giving no to herself. Like,
Yeah,
girl,
she be
do it.
dropping some gems. She said one thing that she looked for is her. Like, can you show me me? And when I heard that, to me, I look at that future picture of yourself, the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you depositing things into me that's going to bring that about?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. Can you give me me? Can you
Yep.
give me that picture of the best version of myself? Are you going to add the type of love to my life
Mm-hmm.
that's going to develop that? Because I promise you, the love that comes from all three of us, the love that comes from us is going to make you better.
Yeah, because I'm willing to stick
That's
it out. That's why I don't have
That's it. That's all.
the more that I elevate and the more that I gain the virtue from
Yes.
God, because virtue is that's a godly thing.
Yes.
Virtue is not a thing that's going to come without God. So the
That's
more
right.
that I gain that and the more that I strive for that, the more that I'm really like, I see why there's nothing you can do that could separate you from God's love. Because the
right.
more that you gain that, it's like I'm virtuous for me.
Right.
I'm like this for me. I actually love for me, because this is something that I feel like I have to do it. I have to exude it. Like, so I don't really have a breaking point when it
Mhm.
comes down to that. That's why it's very important on who I give that to,
Yes.
because I don't have that. So if you're not coming with the necessary requirements in order, or you're not coming with that consistency to where I know that you're going to continue to reach further, and I know I'm going to continue to reach further, and who you want to be, I got you, I help you get there, and who I want to be, you got me, you help me get there, then what are we talking about? There's nothing to talk about. I'm not entertaining no conversation. I don't want to. Can we be friends? No, that's disrespectful.
Amen.
And I've said that so many times, and guys just look at me like, you doing too much. No, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to you, and it's disrespectful to me, because you're disrespecting my time and my
Amen.
energy.
Amen.
So no, I'm good.
Sometimes you
Higher
just gotta.
heights. Higher heights, y'all.
You unqualified queen or king. Sometimes you just gotta do it. I'm gonna end it on this note here and just give to y'all how God gave it to me. Just like faith without works are dead, love without discernment profits you nothing.
Ooh.
And as y'all grow, y'all will understand that the more.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen. Y'all, this has been woo. This has been the Shine Your Light podcast. An amazing show. Thank you so much, Ty the Guy, for coming and dropping them gems. Thank you so much, Queen Simone. You always teach us every single time, give us clarity and give me perspective that I didn't necessarily even think of until you brought it about. So thank y'all both. I appreciate y'all. And thank y'all for tuning in to the Shine Your Light podcast, y'all. Until next time, we'll see